maybe the best NBA trainer in the absolute business, would like to train Caitlin Clark this off-season.
With a major story. To a look like famed NBA trainer Chris Brickley has broken his silence about Caitlin Clark and potentially working with her to make a healthy...
Caitlin Clark just made a move that has everyone in the WNBA talking, and honestly, her competition should be nervous. She was recently spotted training with Chris Brickley, who's nothing short of a legend. He's the NBA trainer responsible for keeping stars like LeBron James and Kevin Durant performing at elite levels well into their late 30s. After a season plagued by injuries, Clark is completely revamping her training routine in ways the WNBA hasn't really seen before. Her rivals should be on alert because she's clearly coming back stronger and different. But what do you think? Does working with a top-tier NBA trainer give her...
This is what I like to hear. I'm all in. I'm all in on this move. I've been saying I want to see Caitlin Clark train with some new higher-level elite training. I want her to get the hell away from Indiana as far as training. I don't want her practicing with Stephanie White. I don't want her working with the Indiana Fever training staff, even though they're getting a new senior advisor and all that. I don't want none of that. I think there's a few things that Caitlin, if she add these few things to her bag, she's definitely unstoppable. Chris Brickley, legendary NBA trainer, working with the likes of Carmelo Anthony. When y'all saw Carmelo Anthony lose all that weight and get in shape, Hoodie Melo, he worked with Carmelo Anthony, Jimmy Butler, Donovan Mitchell, Trey Young.
The news that Chris Brickley is interested in training Caitlin Clark this offseason should genuinely have WNBA players losing sleep. And for anyone who doesn't know who Brickley is, let me break it down for you. This guy isn't just good. He's one of the most respected private trainers in all of basketball. We're talking about someone who's truly among the best in the entire business. His client list reads like a Hall of Fame roster: LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Carmelo Anthony, just to name a few. Countless NBA legends have trusted him with their bodies and their careers. So the fact that he wants to work with Clark? The implications are absolutely
that specific team.
Yeah.
So
yeah. You just called it.
Sometimes
some teams are like, no,
they've got
you need
people
to be with me a year for the first 3 years. This is happening with me and Caitlin Clark. So Caitlin Clark finished her rookie season. We've been talking for a few years, and
you worked with Caitlin Clark.
So we were going to work last summer, but I was gonna have to go to Indianapolis. And I respect it. Like when you're young on your team, you.
Brickley recently appeared on a podcast where he spoke openly about wanting to train Caitlin Clark. He revealed that they've been in touch for a few years and almost connected last offseason. But the timing just didn't work out. At the time, Clark was expected to stay at the Indiana Fever's practice facility, like most young players do. They usually remain local, train with the team staff, and build chemistry within the organization. Brickley completely respected that choice and didn't push her. But after what turned out to be a disastrous, injury-plagued season for Clark, he's now really hoping...
So I'm hoping now this season, this off-season, hoping that she'll come to New York and go get some work. And she's the reason why the WNBA has become so big. I would love to work with her.
Yeah.
An amazing talent. She's changed the game.
She has absolutely changed women's sports.
For sure.
Just
and I love
generally
competitiveness too.
Oh man, I know. She's that's the other piece too, that like it's okay for women to be competitive.
Okay, so the timing of all this is absolutely perfect because Caitlin Clark desperately needs to overhaul her training. The 2025 season was nothing short of a nightmare for her. She played only 13 games in the entire regular season due to injuries. Just 13. For someone who was supposed to be the face of the league, the player who brought unprecedented attention and revenue to the WNBA, and who everyone expected to build on a strong rookie year, that's catastrophic. Something clearly went wrong with how her body was prepared and maintained. And honestly, it's hard to argue that the Fever's training staff did her any favors. So let's break down what actually happened with Clark's training before the season. Last off-season, she hit the weight room hard, added a lot of muscle, got stronger, and looked noticeably different when the season began. Many people thought that was the right approach. After all, she took an incredible amount of physical punishment during her first year, and officials often allowed defenders to rough her up with minimal consequences. So bulking up seemed like the logical response. But here's the problem. Adding muscle without the right training methods, or without fully understanding how that extra mass affects movement patterns and joint stress, can actually make an athlete more injury-prone. And that might be exactly what happened here. Clark suffered a groin injury that sidelined her for most of the season. Groin injuries are often linked to muscle imbalances, flexibility limitations, or trying to move explosively with a body that's changed too quickly. When you add a lot of muscle mass in a short time, your nervous system and connective tissues need time to adapt. If you don't allow that adjustment period and instead jump right back into high-intensity basketball movements, injuries are inevitable. That's just basic sports science. Apparently, the Fever's training staff either didn't understand that or failed to apply it properly. And this is exactly where someone like Chris Brickley becomes invaluable. He's not just a strength coach or a skills trainer, he's a performance specialist who knows how to keep elite athletes healthy and competing at the highest level for as long as possible. Just look at his track record. LeBron James will be 41 this season and is still performing at an elite level. Kevin Durant, at 37, remains one of the most dangerous scorers in basketball. Carmelo Anthony played until age 37 and was still logging solid minutes in his final season. That kind of longevity doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of smart, science-based training that prioritizes long-term health and performance. Brickley's approach clearly works. His clients stay healthy and productive deep into their 30s, which is incredibly rare in professional basketball. Most players begin declining in their early 30s as their bodies break down from years of wear and tear. But Brickley's athletes seem to age in reverse. They stay stronger, healthier, and more effective even as their peers slow down or retire. If Clark can tap into that knowledge and methodology, she could extend her career by years and avoid the same injury issues that derailed her 2025 season. And here's the most telling part. The fact that Brickley is actively pursuing the chance to work with Clark says everything about how he views her. Potential. He doesn't need her name for credibility. His resume already speaks for itself. He's trained the biggest stars in the game. He's not chasing clout or attention. So when he goes on a podcast and says he'd love to work with Caitlin Clark, that she's changed the game and helped elevate the WNBA to new heights, that's genuine respect. Coming from someone who knows greatness when he sees it, Brickley recognizes that Clark is special, and he wants to be part of helping her reach her full potential. Some fans are apparently viewing this as a negative, which is honestly wild to me. Why would working with one of the best trainers in all of basketball be anything other than a massive positive? The only explanation I can think of is that some people either don't understand who Chris Brickley is or what he brings to the table, or they're so invested in defending the Fever organization that they can't admit the team's training staff failed Clark this season, because let's be real, they absolutely did. Clark entered the season supposedly in peak condition, yet her body broke down after just 13 games. That's a massive failure in both preparation and management. And frankly, the Fever organization as a whole doesn't inspire much confidence right now. Their medical staff has been questionable, their training protocols clearly didn't work, and their injury reporting was vague and inconsistent all season. They just don't seem to have the infrastructure or expertise needed to properly support a player of Clark's caliber and importance. Clark needs access to the best resources available. And if those resources aren't in Indianapolis, then she needs to go where they are. That might mean spending significant time in New York, working with Brickley during the off-season. What's also interesting from Brickley's podcast appearance is that he already trains Angel Reese. Some people might try to use that as a criticism, like, why would Clark work with her rival's trainer? But that's actually another point in Brickley's favor. Professional trainers often work with multiple athletes, even from competing teams. It's totally normal in sports. The fact that Reese trusts him with her training only proves how respected and effective he is. And let's be clear, Brickley can't perform miracles. He's an elite trainer, yes, but he can't turn players into something they're not. The results depend on each athlete's talent, work ethic, and how coachable they are. The difference between how Clark's season went and how it could have gone with better training is striking. She was supposed to build on a strong rookie year, elevate her game, and establish herself as the undisputed best player in the league. Instead, she spent most of the year rehabbing injuries and watching from the sidelines while her team struggled. That's not just disappointing for Clark, it's bad for the entire NBA. The league needs her healthy and playing because she's the main driver of fan interest, ticket sales, and viewership. Her absence hurt attendance, ratings, and even the league's overall competitiveness. Going forward, Clark needs to take full control of her career in ways she hasn't before. She's been loyal to the Fever, working with their staff and trusting their guidance. But after this disastrous season, that loyalty might be misplaced. She needs to prioritize her health and development above everything else. That means working with the best people available, whether or not they're connected to the team. If that means training in New York with Brickley, so be it. If it means hiring outside specialists for nutrition, recovery, or mental performance, she should do that too. Her career is too valuable to risk on people who've already proven they can't keep her healthy. The physical demands of professional basketball are intense, and the WNBA schedule doesn't leave much room for rest. Clark needs a training approach that fully prepares her body for that grind while also building in proper recovery. Brickley's track record shows he understands that balance better than almost anyone. His clients play heavy minutes deep into the playoffs year after year without breaking down. That's exactly what Clark needs to ensure a long, successful career. There's also a huge mental and emotional benefit to working with someone like Brickley. He's trained the greatest players in the world. He knows what greatness looks like up close. He can give Clark perspective and mentorship that goes far beyond physical training, helping her manage her body, handle the pressure of superstardom, and keep evolving even as teams adjust to her strengths. That kind of guidance is priceless. The competitive edge Clark would gain from working with Brickley should terrify the rest of the WNBA. She's already the most skilled offensive player in the league. Her shooting range, court vision, and ability to create for herself and others are unmatched. Now imagine if she's healthy for an entire season. If her body is fully conditioned to handle the physical punishment without breaking down. If she comes back stronger, more explosive, and more efficient, she'd be virtually unstoppable. Some of the greatest players in WNBA history never had access to training at Brickley's level because those resources simply weren't available in women's basketball back then. Clark has the chance to change that, to bring that level of elite science-based training into the women's game. That's not unfair. It's smart. She's using every resource available to maximize her potential. Other players should do the same instead of complaining about advantages they're not even trying to pursue. And yes, there's a financial side to this too. Working with a top private trainer like Brickley isn't cheap. While he doesn't publish his rates, given his reputation and client list, it's safe to say they're substantial. Fortunately, Clark can afford it, thanks to her Nike deal and endorsement income, giving her access to resources most WNBA players simply don't have. That's just the reality of professional sports. The stars who earn more can invest more in themselves, which helps them stay on top. It's a self-reinforcing cycle. There's also an interesting Nike and LeBron James connection here. Clark has her own signature shoe deal with Nike, and LeBron has been publicly supportive of her throughout her career. It wouldn't be surprising if Nike helped facilitate or even fund her training with Brickley as an investment in protecting one of their biggest assets. LeBron could easily make the introduction and endorse the partnership, which would send a powerful message. Caitlin Clark. The powerful message. Caitlin Clark.